السلام عليكم دكتور.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
In just a few minutes we'll start. In few seconds, not minutes.
My voice is here. صوتي واضح أستاذة؟
Yes دكتور واضح. We were just checking some technical issues. السلام عليكم everybody. Now we shall start. السلام عليكم everybody. Welcome back to another session of ATC Talks. I'm so pleased to be with you today and to have the chance to introduce our guest speaker for today's ATC Talk. Before we begin, please do note that this session is recorded and questions may be raised after the discussion. Today's guest speaker is the co-founder and manager of training and external communication of CADE Academy, Oman. He is also working as an IT manager at Mazoon Electricity Company and currently a visiting faculty at Sultan Qaboos University. Moreover, he worked as a numerical weather prediction manager at Oman Weather Service. He led the national team to develop numerical tsunami risk assessment model for Omani coast, resulted on operational early warning center. He ran several international training workshops in cooperation with World Meteorological Organization, WMO, and UNESCO. He also ran several local training workshops and courses related to data science, data analytics, and fourth industrial revolution technologies. His research interest focuses on data science, smart grid, and renewable energies. He published more than 30 journal articles and more than 40 conference papers. He has completed his studies at all levels from Sultan Qaboos University. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Sultan Al-Yahyai. Dr. Sultan?
Yes.
Yes, you may start.
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين. So let me start by thanking you organizers, the university, for inviting me to deliver this introductory and public awareness session. Today we will be talking about data science, one of the hot topics and leading topics within Omani market and also international market. Or giving this sort of talks to a public is quite challenging because of the technicalities of the topic, but I'll try my best to remove those tricky things. Just note that, in fact, I know myself, I'm talking too much. So just let me know when you're fed up for me, and I can definitely stop at any point. This talk or presentation is a part of a lengthy onto a data science delivered by Code Academy. Stop at any point. Definitely, it's not much to reach to the end of the presentation. Definitely, we'll cover most of it, and we would cover the core topics related to the our talk today. So basically, yes.
It seems that there is some echo in the device for this the sound.
Okay, let me remove the. How is it now? Is it?
It's much better. It's much better. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll continue like this. Okay, basically, as I said, it's a quite tricky topic, but definitely, since this is a general or public talk, we would cover a brief, accessible, and non-technical overview data science. Let me start by asking this question. Whenever you think or you hear data science, what comes to you? So basically, most of the people or many people in around us, they think, oh, data, this is sort of equations and numbers. Science will be something related to working on the lab, experiments, and so on. And immediately would just say, no, 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 this is not for me. This is too tricky. I'm not interested in this subject. But in reality, tricky part is one component only of the data science. Data science focus on creativity, focus on finding solution, focus on getting insight of your data. Definitely, the tricky part is a main component, but there are so many other components within the scope of data science that make it more creative branch of science. So people would think from the tricky part of data science, okay, this is something related to coding, programming, statistics, some math. But on the other hand, we need to create a creative ideas to solve our problems. We know from coding part, from stat and math as well, there are so many ways to solve a specific problem. But the main core or the soul of data science basically is to get insight, ru'a in Arabic, how to get those insights from your data to find basically creative solution and to take informative decisions. Today we are talking about data-driven decisions within the organization. So to reach to that level, we need to apply the concepts of data science on dealing with data to basically get insight of our data. So the main goal of our data science basically is to get into your data, to listen to your data. Remember, numbers doesn't lie at all, but we definitely need to learn how to listen carefully to them. And also, we need to understand the language that numbers talk. Without understanding their language, without listening to them carefully, would never get insight into our data. So basically, the whole concept of data science, getting insight, solving a problem creatively, and basically listening carefully to our data and explore them to reach to a data-driven decisions within our organization. In fact, data is all comes into type of formats, different types and different formats. We're all familiar with this. This is a structured data. Then things get little bit complicated to our web pages, information web pages. Then we move to a semi-structured data. Then things getting more complicated. Data comes on a graph. Our mobile communication on its different format. We have streaming data, audio and videos. Our financial data, credit card information, even our social media, it's يعني making things more complicated. Our record information, and finally our semantic web data. All of this data has something to say, and we need to listen carefully to them. So things are getting more complicated once we add new. Anything I need to comment on? Okay.
Sorry,
do you
Doctor,
hear
but
me?
Yes, we hear you, but there is some echo again in the voice.
In my voice?
Yeah.
Well, this is the best I can do. So I'm
it keeps
using
disconnecting.
4G.
Yeah, it keeps disconnecting. I mean,
in fact, I'm
really
using my 4G.
The quality.
I see.
I think it's a slow connection or something.
This is the best I can. Well, I'm using the 4G connection. Just maybe let me disconnect my video, and I'll keep it on the audio only. That would save some bandwidth.
Okay.
This would definitely improve it. So we'll continue. Sorry not to see my face, but that's what we can do. So how is it now? Getting better, smoother?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see.
Thank you, Doctor.
So basically, moving to more different type of data and different format of data that provide us a source of information, but getting things more complicated. So we need to absorb this variety of data. In addition to this normal data, data is basically around us from different sources. Talking about smart homes, smart cities, everything is moving to a smart connection. These sources would basically communicate to each other. Each source would provide its own data, and we can definitely utilize the different sources of data to get more insight and to take proper decisions. Looking to the global data production during 2020, so if we focus on 60 seconds or 1 minute of the internet, you can see basically within 1 minute, there is more than, or there is about 700,000 hours of Netflix watch. There is around 3.8 million search within Google. There is 4.5 million video views within YouTube. So that amount of data generated and produced globally within 1 minute. So you can imagine how much of data we are generated all around the world. And basically, we in Oman is part of that global data production, and we contribute to the global production of data. As you can see from the left-hand side graph, that the global data production, and basically that exponential growth, it has to be absorbed, it has to be stored, it has to be processed, and that create our source of information or data that we need process and get insights. Okay, so you may ask that if we have that much of data, why don't we utilize all of it? Unfortunately, the picture is not that clean. The story is not that easy. There are so many challenges that prevent us utilizing or processing this data. In many cases, those doesn't have the required details. In many cases, those data are of questionable quality, if not bad quality. In many times, the data doesn't received on a timely manner. There are some technical challenges, and one of the main challenges, basically what I called here the organization challenge. The organizational challenge, you can understand it basically within any organization. We have financial data, we have HR data, we have technical data, we have project management data. Each department has their own data, and if somebody asks for specific data, nobody knows who owns that data, what regulation are given, what are the governance of those data, and basically no ownership of that data. Who's responsible for storing the data? Who's responsible for backing up the data? Who's responsible for checking the quality of the data? Those sort of organizational tasks are missing on several organizations, and that basically one of the main challenges of utilizing the data around us. So going back to the concept of data science, we can understand data science from different point of views. Somebody can think about the data science as applied coding, math, and statistics. So it's basically applying the concept of coding, apply the concept of math and statistics to work on a problem that would be basically defined as a data science. Some define the data science as analyzing data, diverse of data, different type of data. That's our standard analytical approach. More comprehensive, I would still call it applied definition from applied point of view. It's the inclusive analysis. It's not only analyzing the data on a standard. We need to include all type of data, and specific is to get insightful information and to support decision. Without having that component of supporting decision making, we still behind the core principles of data science. So data science gets its popularity around the world. There are so many articles written, publications published about data science. And one of the famous articles, and I would advise to read, is Data Science, the sixth job of the 21st century. You might ask why data science is getting sexy job within this century, and basically that would be because of the rare qualities, because we are applying the concept of data science on unstructured data to get a value. We need to extract a value from the data, not only analyzing the data. That analysis should move to a value, should produce a decision that support the organization. The second reason for being a sexy job is basically data science provide comprehensive and advantage on our data, and basically there is a shortage of qualified personnel resources that can work on data science. So looking to another article produced by McKinsey, and this is also one of the good articles about data science and required resources. On this article, they're talking about a global shortage of data scientists of about 140,000 to 190,000. Job requires a deep analytics and talented on data science. And this is basically, we are talking about the technical part of data science. There is a globally around 140,000 to about 190,000 requires deep analytics on data science. Behind or besides this technical parts is a bigger shortage, about 1 million, that requires data survey managers. And this is basically people who understands the data, people who speaks the data, people who can listen to the data. This doesn't involve the deep technical part of data science. So managing the data, managing the process, project management on data science. So globally, there is a shortage of about 1.5 million job for those who understands and talk from data perspective. Looking also to a survey provided by Carey Management. This surveys came up to a conclusion that looking to the top 25 hottest job skills all around the world, data science skills was ranked the first. So to get a job, you need to develop yourself on a data science field. Whatever your main career, you need to develop yourself from a data science point of view. So data science ranked on the top of the list. Glassdoor also published a similar article on the 25 best in America, and they focus on data science. Data science was among the top, and basically they also came to a conclusion that it's one of the high job. To be a highly paid employee, you need to develop your data science skills, and you would attract more organization on hiring you. So on summary about this part of the presentation, I would say there is a high demand for data science. There is a specific and general requirement, and all together that makes data science one of the highly paid jobs, and among the top skills required within any organization. So after talking about why data science is attractive, let us look where we can apply data science. Data science, in fact, can be applied basically on every and each organization of different disciplines. We can apply it on image recognition to understand what that image contains. We can apply it on and eliminate the risk within the organization. We can apply it on gaming. We can apply it on supply chain. We can apply it on attracting customers. So all over different disciplines. So one of the areas we can apply data science, healthcare. Healthcare contains a huge amount of data. Based on that data related to genetics and genomes, we can apply data to understand the diseases. We can apply data science to manage the data. We can apply the science to basically to discover drugs. Today is talking about COVID-19. Data science and artificial intelligence concept were applied to eliminate different combination of drugs to come up with muscles for COVID-19. Image analysis, one of the nice applications for data science is analyzing and different of images to understand sort of cancers. So cancer detection, and it can be used, the data science application on cancer detection, as a second or third opinion from the consultant or from the doctor. They can refer to the image analysis from the data science to confirm or deny sort of cancers on a patient. In agriculture also can benefit from data science, starting from understanding the market, starting from pre-harvesting to select which seeds to be, what sort of fertilizers, what sort of soil, how much water during the farming process, and post-harvesting, which market to be used, what season we can grow our crops. So even the processing of the food and distribution and reaching to the customer, all levels or stages of agri-technology that can benefit basically from data science. In addition, also human resource management. Human resource management can benefit from data science in maintaining talents, predicting the top performing employee within the organization. We can forecast our workforce. We need to understand our staff to check their stability, their satisfaction, so we can apply a retention policy with our organization. Also people are coming and leaving the organization. We need to plan our successions. So succession planning is one of the basically areas where we can apply data science to understand the organization, to understand the behavior, so we can manage our human resources on a more effective way. Basically, to apply a data science, you need to understand different components of data science. And this figure illustrates the main component of a data science, which we call it data science Venn diagram. And as you see, that data science is basically the intersection of three components: coding, statistics, and domain expert. The intersection of the three components is basically what we call it data science. So looking to the coding component of data science, we utilize coding on gathering the data, preparing the data, cleaning the data, writing putting them on a proper formatting, writing our model, designing our visualization. All of those stages would require a coding skills. And on these coding skills, since some of our participants or attendees are students, I would advise you to focus on those different components. For the statistical part of the coding, you need to develop your skills on Python, R language. You need to develop your skills on SQL of the database, or NoSQL databases nowadays, on command line, something like batch shell on Unix, and regular expression for effective search methodologies. So you need to develop your skills on the coding part. From the math component of data science, we need to develop our probability skill, algebra, regression. We need math to choose our procedure. Each sort of data, each sort of data population, data sets, it has its own procedure. Select the proper math and stat component to be applied on our data sets. If we discover also errors in our models, we need to do a diagnosis to our problem, and that requires a math and stat component. Last component on data science is basically domain expert. If you apply data science on healthcare, you need somebody who understands the healthcare data. If you apply data science on financial domain, you need somebody who understands the financial component of the data. If you apply data science on project management, you need somebody to understand project management concepts. That basically would be required to set the goals, to understand the methods, to understand the constraints of your data, and also once you get your results, you need somebody who can implement them. So person from that domain would definitely be the appropriate resource to implement the required or the results of our study. Looking to the Venn diagram, you can see different intersections. So intersection between stat and coding, that basically would make our machine learning. The basically intersection between stat and domain expert, this is the traditional statistical analysis. And applying coding to a domain, that basically what is called a dangerous zone, which may result on something not applicable, not realistic. So the best combination is basically our data science, which then between the three sort of branches. So looking to the three components, we can see when we analyze data scientists around the world, we can see so many data scientists coming from the coding background. So they are computer science graduate, they are from information technology field, and they adapt themselves to be a data scientist. Also, we have seen so many data scientists coming from statistical. They are graduate from statistics department, and they develop themselves to be more data scientist oriented. We have seen less common, so that somebody coming from the field, let us call a doctor, and moving to a data scientist. It can happen, but with less common. probability. But we do need the full combination of coding, statistical and math, and domain expert. The best approach is to form a team, a combination of team that contain somebody from coding background, somebody from statistics and math background, and somebody from the domain expert. So overall, we can see that data science is a diverse skill are needed. Each of them are playing basically a specific role within data science. So to run any data science, basically, you need to move on different. You need to plan your project. You need to prepare your data. You need to model your data, and then you need to implement your results and follow up your findings. So planning your project, you need to define your goals. You need to understand your organization and prepare your resources in terms of budget, in terms of data, in terms of human resource. You need to coordinate between your people, schedule your project. This is all done on the preparation or planning phase of your data science project. Then you need to prepare your data, and this is a tedious work. I warn you, this is really tedious work, but without it, you cannot do your job. You cannot complete your project. You need to get your data. There is a lot of politics involved on getting your data. You need to clean your data, and there is a lot of techniques you need to apply. You need to explore data to understand the features, the distribution, the different component of your data, and definitely you need to define which data to be included. Sometimes we have a wish list of our data. That wish list is not available. So we need to define what specific data to be included or excluded from our data science project. Then we need to model our data. And this is basically one of the core components of data science. We need to create our model using statistical and mathematical model. We need to validate our model. We need to evaluate, and we need to fine-tune our model to fit our data. In this part, basically, we apply the concept of machine learning, deep learning, neural networks. So all the technical parts are basically implemented within data preparation and data modeling component of the data science steps. Then we need to, once we finish our model, we would get our results to present our model to our top management. Remember, the whole project was basically to get insight of your data. So our clients, basically our top management doesn't care whether you use machine learning or deep learning, neural networks, or what other techniques. They care about the results. They care about decision support. How your model would support their decision. So that is basically the insight of our data. So this is a very important and crucial skill. We tend to focus on the technical part, and we forget our soft part to present the data to our management. What language we need to use, what graphs we need to present, colors we use during our presentation, whether to present it on table or figure. That would make difference. And then we follow up the implementation of our findings and results. So on summary for this data science is not only technical, it contains technical part, management part, and soft skills part. We need to develop our skills, and we need to do it when so many people, when they hear data science, they immediately jump to data analytics, data model. No, no, no. Believe me, that is the simplest part of data science. That is, يعني, for sure, that is the simplest part. Developing your model, tuning your model, running your model, easiest part. There are so many other challenges in data science project, starting from defining your project, having a right objective, having the right resources, having the right data, cleaning up your data, and presenting your results to the management and following up the results. So you need to have the comprehensive picture of data science project. So within a data science, there are so many, I would call them roles involved on a data science project. It's not only programmers, it's not only statisticians. So we need different sort of roles. I would just list few of them. Data engineers are required. Data engineers basically would put the architecture, would develop the database. They would make the architecture of our model. Then we need data specialist, and this data specialist is basically doing the technical part of machine learning, data products, neural networks. Basically, they are coming or focusing from computer science perspective of the project. We need researchers. Those researchers are coming from the domain expert. Those who understand the data, who understand the field, who understand the physical meaning of that data. So we need, yes? Okay. We do need data analysts. Data analysts are required for our day-to-day operation. Those working with the database, writing SQL commands, cleaning up the data, retrieving data from the website. So data analysts are also required. We need business analysts. Business analysts are coming from project management point of view. We need somebody to handle the project. We need somebody who can evaluate the time required for each step. We need somebody to understand the risk at each object. So we need somebody to manage our data science project. So basically different roles required on each and every data science. We does not require only programmers. We does not require only a statistician. We need to build a full comprehensive skills for our project. Sort of science. It involves a lot of goals and risks. We need to develop a team. We cannot do it ourselves. Definitely, we have talented people who can basically do different components of the project. But believe me, people, we need to have a success story on data science projects. Looking to the field of data science, sometimes there is misunderstanding between different terminologies. Sometimes we hear about big data and we mix it up with data science, And on the following slides, I'll just highlight the main difference from different different fields. So this is a Venn diagram of two different things: data science, which is basically made up of coding, math, and domain expert, and the big data Venn diagram when we talk about the different V's of big data: volume, velocity, variety, and viscosity of the big data. So having this intersection, sometimes it make it misunderstood, and people start mixing between data science and big data, and in reality they share a common thing. So we have our big data, we have our data science, and in between we have what is called big data science. That is a data science work for big data. Sometimes we have a big data project that doesn't involve data science. We can analyze our data with the classical analysis, and at the same time we have a data science that doesn't involve big data, but there is an overlapping between them. We can talk, or we can have a big data science. So in summary, big data doesn't equal data science. They have a common ground, and big data science is the intersection between. Coding is another miscommunicated or misunderstood between data science and coding. I would assume most of you know coding, know programming, or at least understand the concept. The common between data science and programming, both of them use code, but there is specific coding requirements. Languages, something like R, Python, SQL are the tools of programming used for data science, and there are so many other programming tools that is rarely used within data science. So there is also an overlapping between coding and data science. So coding doesn't make sense. Share some tools and practices between them. Statistics is also another component. Both statistics and data science, the data, they share that analysis component, but they are quite different in between. If we look to the most, or the world's 7 most powerful data scientists, we would see a nice mix. 5 of them having degrees on computer science, 3 in math, 2 in engineering, and 1 each in biology, economy, law, and fish, and statistics. So even statistics and data science are sharing data. Our most powerful data scientists are not coming from statistics, but definitely we need to focus on training our data scientists, practice on machine learning and big data, and also we need to develop our data scientists to work on different fields. So there is a common between data science and stat, but they differ. They differ on goals and context between them. Last thing I would cover on this talk is basically not a technical part of data science, ethical part of data science. So dealing with data science, we would deal with data, and data contains privacy. It contains information about people. It contains information about their health status, their financial status, their social status, whatever dimension. But they contain information. So based on that, we should maintain high level of ethical issues of the data. One of the main component is the copyright. We should not steal the data. We should not we should refer back to the sources of the data. We need to maintain the privacy of the data. We should not disclose any information about the data we have, and also we should treat the data anonymously. So if the data contains information that might lead to identify specific person, for example, if we're talking about data about cancer, part of private data, maybe a person doesn't like to expose it. If our data contains the name of the patient, we should remove that name. We should remove the address of that person. So we need to maintain the privacy of the data on different level. So this component of data is basically required to be maintained on a high level. I talked about them. So those skills need to be maintained on high level. Sometimes also we talk about being biased on our data. Sometimes analyze for some reason we get biased by gender, origin, or even our algorithm. If our data contains 90%, for example, if we are analyzing data from GCC country and 90% of our population data is coming from Oman, this is definitely biased. If our data or algorithm somehow biased between gender, that would definitely unethical unethical acts. We need to also to maintain that ethical component of our data. Last thing, basically, this is the end of my presentation of today. I hope I covered the main component. I hope that I added a value to your understanding of data science and its components. One could ask, okay, I learned about an introduction to a data science. What I can do for a next step? How can I develop myself on data science? Definitely, you need to go into a proper training on data science. And if organizers would allow me to do in 1 minute or 2 minutes advertising about our Code Academy organization. Code Academy is basically a training and consultation institute that focus on 4th Industrial Revolution. So basically we are training institute. We provide training on different aspects of IT component. Here I would present one program, a nice program we provide. This program is called Data Science and Knowledge Discovery. This program is approved by Ministry of Higher Education. So you get certified on this program. This program contains around 210 contact hours on different field of data science. It contains some advanced programming for data science. Introduction to Data Science and Big Data, Data Analytics and Visualization. We do it using Python or R, basically. Business Intelligence and Dashboarding, we do it by Tableau, Microsoft Power BI, or Google Data Studio. Principle and application of machine learning, applied deep learning for business, social media analysis, and we do some soft skill on IT project management and entrepreneurship. And we have also a project for participants. They work on their. These projects are coming from a real problems in our Omani market, so they work on a real life projects. Our first batch was graduated a few months back. We are planning to offer the program on October. Our next batch would be during October to December. It's a 3-month program. We offer it in 2 modes, basically. It can be offered online, and for specific organization, some organization they want it for their own stuff, so we can offer it as a class based. It's delivered by ourselves, by fully Omani qualified professors who deliver the material. In Code Academy, we have our own model for AI and digital transformation. We can present it to any organization who's interested to develop their digital transformation and applying the 4th industrial revolution technologies on their organization. Definitely, I would welcome you to follow me and Code Academy on our social media accounts. Sultan Yahya, my personal account on both Twitter and Instagram, and also Code Academy _OM is our Code Academy social media account. That's it, and thank you very much. Okay, we are exactly at 8. I hope
3 minutes
you
to
benefited.
12.
Okay, so I'm 3 minutes earlier. Maybe I speak faster this time. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sultan. Despite the quality of the audio during the session, now the floor will be open for questions and answers. You may raise your hand if you have any question. We have one question from Dr. Joha.
Yes, Dr. Joha.
Hello, Dr. Sultan.
Hi, Dr. Joha. Hello.
Just very nice presentation about science data, and I think it's really a very attractive subject, especially with all of this revolutionary, intelligence, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. I think, though, there are many problems with these, data and things. One of the things is, how do you deal with data in terms of reliability and in terms of analysis as well? Because there are many different data, and I think it's really hard to deal with all of the data. So in terms of like different fields, even when it comes to social media, I'm not sure how reliable are these data. Also in terms of expertise, like how well these are trained to be able to model and simulate and then validate actually. And I would say, what is the best approach to utilize the data science in terms of software expertise, even when it comes to interpretation, how well this is fit like to the data and how well it is validated. And you mentioned something at the end is the good judgment. I think this is very, very good end, like summary. The good judgment to the data is very important. So I would like to hear from you, from your expertise, because I am coming from the pharmacy field. and modeling and simulation is used widely in this field. You know, in drug discovery, and especially now with the COVID, FDA giving approval for many drugs, you know, only through the simulation and modeling. So how to be able to rely on these models to validate them, I think this needs like a lot of attention before we made our, you know, judgment and how well this model is working.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joha, for your valid points, and I would totally agree with your concerns. Variety of data, it involves a quality issue. Even though the first COVID-19 prediction made by Blueprint was basically based on social media, because before officially China announced the COVID-19, so once people start talking about COVID-19, or not COVID-19 at that level, at that point, they talked about يعني الأعراض ايش اسمها اللي هي talked about
the symptoms, you mean?
ايش يسموا الأعراض symptoms, talking about symptoms, symptoms. So at that level, data science start talking about unknown disease that somebody should take care or talked about. So even though the quality of the data is not reliable and a lot of rumors within social media, but this unreliable data would give us an indication about something. Definitely each sort of data, we need to classify them. During our models, one approach basically used is to weight your data. So data coming from social media, you give it a weight. Data coming from your daily operation within pharmacy, you give it a weight. Data a higher weight. Data coming from the clinic, outpatient clinic, you give it maybe higher weight. So weighting the data is one approach to handle the quality issue. Plus, you need to, from time to time, or within the organization, data quality should be accounted or should be assigned to a specific department. Unfortunately, currently within our organization, data governance is not responsibility of any unit or any department. Each department, they have their own data, but no department is responsible for governing that data. Governing the data would basically involve the quality, involve who has the right to access that data, what frequency to update that data, how to utilize this data. That governance component is missing in our organization. And personally, I'm pushing on this direction on different talks that we need to focus on the governance part of our data. Final comment, I would say, within our models, we need, we cannot compare model to model. Currently, we depend on simulation. Simulation is as good as our data, basically. If our data is garbage, our simulation result would be another garbage. So basically, we are comparing model to another model, and this is not a validation at all. Maybe this is an emergency situation, and FDI is approving drugs because of this situation, but in a normal situation, definitely this is not acceptable. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for the lovely session. May I just request an answer for this simple question? It is very interesting field, and we would like to introduce this to our students. But what's your advice? Which topics that we can start by to introduce it to our students?
I would say you need to start with you need an introductory course to science, a bigger picture of the science, different components. So different chapters would talk about different component. And the second level course would be basically data analytics and visualization. This is an important from technical or applied colleges. They need to analyze the data and visualize it. You need to promote projects related to data science. If you have more space in your curriculum, I would recommend a course related to machine learning or deep learning. So the students basically the right path to the field. So introductory course, analytics and visualization, then machine learning or deep learning course. That would guide them or give them the right path, and they definitely can continue in their own on different training sessions or online courses.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for answering the question. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. We have another question. Please go ahead, Mr. AR.
Hello. Thank you, Dr. Sultan. It's really informative. You spoke about what can students do to involve in data science. Now, if we talk about the current workforce, how can they get involved in data science? Say they're in different fields and they are interested to get into it.
Okay. This is a very interesting question, and in fact, I'm getting this question on almost a daily basis from individuals and also from organizations. And the answer would be basically from the organization point of view, I would say there need to have on developing a core data science team within the organization. Based on that, we need to develop or to build a data-driven culture within the organization. Part of that development is to technically develop qualified. They need to form that team from different components. You need sort of a programmer, you need sort of somebody from, I would say, from the area where you would like to focus in the beginning. So if you are focusing on strategic department, you need somebody from strategic department. If you focus on finance department or HR, you need somebody from the field. And then you need somebody from with a statistics background or who understands the numbers. This team should go through a well-structured training program for data science. Without such a structured training and having a project on mind, definitely from Code Academy point of view, we advise organizations to have a project in mind before sending their team. So they have a project in mind where the team we train or somebody else train, not necessarily data Code Academy, can apply the data. So knowledge and project development would run in parallel. By the end of the training, a good understanding of their data, they would have a good progress on the development, and they can carry on the development forward. For individuals, whether they have a technical background or they're coming from the field expertise, they can learn data science. They might need to start from programming point of view. If they have a programming background, that would give them يعني a good boost. If not, definitely programming is something easy to learn. I love to teach programming, and I do promote that learning programming is a fun rather than يعني something difficult. So they can start with programming, and then they go ahead with the list of courses I mentioned within the courses provided by Code. So I hope I answered that question.
Thank you very much.
It seems that we have another question from Dr. Jocha. Yes? Dr.
Yes,
Jocha?
sorry. Yeah, sorry. I do have a lot of questions actually, but I'm trying to give others also the opportunity to have their questions. But
yeah, just to maintain the time.
This is more like a suggestion rather than a question actually. I think what would be really nice to see is to see an examples of different data science and how they have been used to simulate and modulate, and then what are, based on this modeling and simulation, what was the decision from different fields. It would be really, really nice. I don't know if you are planning to do a follow-up, because this is really a very hot topic. And it would be great to see examples from different fields, like within the business, within the law, and then from the health science, for example, like the pharmacy or whatever. If you had these examples in mind, and you can follow up like with another lecture, if you have time, of course, it would be really nice. Thank you.
For the suggestion, and I do يعني support it, but to implement it, it's quite difficult. Unfortunately, organizations don't reach their results, and the reason for that is data science project, or I would call, if we move to machine learning or deep learning models, it's an engineering part. It involves kind of an engineering component where you try your result might not be as good as expectation, but definitely with time you would improve your model. And this is something we always make it clear or express it clearly to our clients, that those sort of projects, they need a long breath. Don't you need to expect or to accept try and error approaches. Other than this, there is no model that can fit all data. There is no model that can work for each organization, even though they have a similar data, but each organization has their own concerns or limitations. Based on that, the quality of model would be judged. So I do support it to give data and publication on collect publication on different fields, but I know it would be hard to find, but I'll give it a try. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It seems that there is another question from Mr. AR again. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. And we need to be within the time because we're already
just a quick question.
Beyond the time. Okay.
Just a quick question. If Dr. Sultan, do you have any idea of starting an organization or a society for data science?
This is yet another question I'm getting from time to time. Unfortunately, the concept of association or society within Oman is still not matured. So I know individuals, I know organizations who started their own units, data science. One of the leading, I'm proud of that leading organization is BDO. In fact, BDO is one of the leading organization in Oman who applies data science. Airport management company also, they started a unit called data science unit. I was quite happy that a new unit within an organization not called well structured societies within Oman. I hope it would come soon, inshallah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sultan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sultan. At the end of this very interesting session, join me please to thank Dr. Sultan Al-Yahyai for a very informative introduction to data science. Stay safe and have a nice weekend. مع السلامة.
Thank you very much. شكرا جزيلا.